Instant match reaction, Manchester City 2, Everton 1 at the Etihad. Not the best performance that by the Blues today. I think that was a game that we really could have done without, to be honest with you. After 2 or 3 weeks of constant good performances, constant effort, constant hard work, for the entirety of the games that we've played, I think that was a game today that we could have done without. Coming up against a team that we all knew were absolutely fantastic with the ball. They had the majority of the possession for the entire game, and Everton just couldn't keep up with it, really. But listen, for me, I think the times that we had the ball, we just weren't good enough, to be honest with you. We knew it was going to be a game that we weren't going to get a lot of the ball, and we understood that every time we got the ball, we needed to do something with it, and I just don't think we done enough. I think we were a little bit scared to make mistakes. We kept reverting back to Jordan Pickford, and we kept trying to keep possession at the back instead of having, taking a risk and putting the ball over the top and trying to, to do something going forward. I think the midfield was really, really absent today, as was the front line as well. Obviously, Richarlison getting the goal, which, to be fair, is a decent finish coming in at the back post, but didn't really do much else all game. I don't think he completed the pass up until that point, to be perfectly honest with you. Defensively, I think that was the first defensive performance in a long time where we can look at and go, that was poor today. I think there was a lack of concentration at a number of points. Gabriel Jesus absolutely ran the show again, as he always does versus Everton. He's one of those players that you just hate to play against. Anthony Martial's the same for Manchester United. Every single time we play Manchester City, if you see Gabriel Jesus in the starting lineup, you know he's going to have a good game, because he only seems to have great games against Everton. And, we had more opportunities than just the 2 he scored from. He had one where he hit the post as well, where I think we fell asleep a little bit. But there's a lot of work for Carlo Ancelotti to do. Listen, I think we come into the game in the last sort of 15 minutes, really. It wasn't the best first half, but like I said, it wasn't the worst first half. Obviously, Manchester City denied an initial goal for what was a clear offside. And I think Everton done well in the first half to keep them out and to nullify their opportunities. Obviously, they had an awful lot of the ball, but in the second half, it just got a little bit too much for us, and you could see the difference in class there. But like I said, Carlo Ancelotti's only 3 games into his Everton career. He's not a miracle worker. They would have gone out there today and would have put in an unbelievable performance and would have come away with a win. I think a lot of Evertonians would have been, yes, really, really happy, but I think shocked as well, to be perfectly honest with you, because that's the type of performance from a Manchester City team that you expect: fast-paced, good football, free-flowing, and we just couldn't keep up with it today. And I put that down largely to the amount of games that were played in recent weeks, and the fact that we just weren't at the races today. We really, really weren't. Sigurdsson was poor once again. Every time he got the ball, he didn't do anything with it. Like I said, a real negative, before the ball had even been kicked, was obviously Bernard having to come out of the team. Bernard being injured in the warm-up by Yerry Mina. Tom Davies coming in with, he's not the same player as Bernard. Obviously, I understand Tom Davies coming in centre midfield, and maybe Sigurdsson went out, but Sigurdsson's, nowhere near the same player as Bernard as well. So we lost automatically that bit of pace and that little bit of skill and technical ability going forward, and maybe the game plan sort of changed there. But you can see Carlo Ancelotti on the sidelines at various different points in the first half screaming at the Everton team to not go back to Jordan Pickford and to play the ball forward and to try and break forward and do as much as we can with the ball in our possession, because it was always a case that we weren't going to get the ball an awful lot of time, so we needed to make the most of when we had the ball. And I just think in that first half, we missed the trick a couple of times to just knock it over the top to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or we were trying to play, it almost felt like we were trying to play through, a Manchester City team that are one of the best teams in Europe, that not many teams will go to the Etihad this season and be able to play through Manchester City. Teams get points from them by putting the ball over the top and, putting pressure on their fullbacks and their defence, and I just don't think we put enough pressure on the defence today. And obviously, like I said, you can see Carlo Ancelotti is trying to tell that to the players, trying to tell the players to get the ball forward. And maybe we just felt that, the confidence we've had after the last couple of performances and last couple of results, and the confidence we took from, playing through the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea and Manchester United, and being unlucky to not win the game against Arsenal, win the game against Manchester United, more so Manchester United. I think maybe the players thought that they could, adapt the same sort of style, but it wasn't going to work today, and it didn't work today. Ultimately, I think the last 15 to 20 minutes, we looked brighter than we looked in the entire game. Obviously, getting the goal, good ball by Theo Walcott. I think Moise Keane does fantastically well to control it, take it down, pass it out. Walcott puts a good ball in and Richarlison gets it. And then, we do start to put pressure on Manchester City, and we do start to, force them into giving away corners, etc. But for me, I think we could have done that in the first half at numerous points, and I think we should have done that in the first half, because we left it a little bit late for ourselves. And, when you're doing that, obviously you're always liable for them to counter-attack and go down the other end. And they did at one point, and Jesus, hits the inside of the post and it nearly gets his hat-trick. But listen, it is disappointing. It's not nice to come away with a loss. It's not nice to see your team lose, and I'm well aware that the Premier League table doesn't favour losses at this point. Obviously, Manchester United are about to play Arsenal. Arsenal currently sitting below us, so it's not a great time to lose, especially when you, like I said, a couple of days ago, you're only 6 points away from that down there, but you're only 6 wins away, 6 points go in your favour away from sort of European football as well. So, it's not nice, but at the end of the day, coming up against, the champions at their home ground, a team that notoriously play good football, even though, obviously at times of the season, they've lost and they've been caught in possession a few times, they're still a very, very good footballing side. And I think the mix of that and us playing a lot of games recently and being tired and maybe not wanting to take those risks, obviously ultimately ended in, the result today. But a lot of work for Carlo Ancelotti to do. It is, January, the transfer window is open, so I'm sure he'll have looked at that game and he'll have assessed, what needs to change and who needs to come in and what type of players that we need. Jibril Sidibe didn't do himself any favours today. I thought he was poor, but to be fair, he's had a good game for the last 3 weeks. One thing I was impressed with Carlo Ancelotti was taking the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson and Seamus Coleman off when they weren't having good games at all. I like to see that from the manager, that sort of bollocks to say you're not having a good game, you're coming off, irregardless of whether you're the captain, irregardless of whether, you're one of the senior players. I really, really like to see that. But overall, it just wasn't good enough today from Everton. And I'm not too disheartened because I understand the team that we were playing, and I think it was more important to get the wins against Burnley and Newcastle than today's game was, because I think ultimately at the start of December, when Duncan Ferguson took charge, or even when Marco Silva was still in charge, we'd have looked at the game against Manchester City and we'd have knew it was going to be a tough game and we were going to struggle to get anything out of. So it was really important that we got the 2 wins that we did last week, and now we look forward obviously to the Merseyside derby at Anfield on Sunday. Hopefully the players can get a little bit more rest, and Carlo Ancelotti can give them a little bit more of a team talk and explain to them today why they didn't go forward when they probably should have done, and why we were reverting back to Jordan Pickford at times. But anyway, final score, Manchester City 2, Everton 1 at the Etihad. Disappointing, of course, but we move on. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below.